Welcome, everybody, to the Jeff Adams Show. Man, it's been a minute, but I think I figured it out, the way I'm going to integrate YouTube with the audio podcast. So I'm currently doing a visual podcast, a little bit different than I used to be. I'm used to using a lot of cameras, a lot of switching, but I'm just using one camera and going over video clips like I used to do back in the day with talk radio and talk about the things that I kind of want to talk about. What's going on in the news, the things that spark my interest. Maybe not follow trends of what's going on in the world, but maybe go off the beaten path a little bit and dissect a couple of cool news stories that you may not have heard of. Let's dive into it, shall we? America, how do you feel about leasing a fancy Washington, D.C. high-rise for $250 million? That's exactly what this administration did at the USA Agency for Global Media. If you don't know what the United States Agency for Global Media is, it was funded by Congress. The Agency for Global Media oversees all non-military international broadcasting in addition to the Voice of America. The agency operates Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, the Office of Cuba Broadcasting, Radio Free Asia, the Middle East Broadcasting Networks, and Open Technology Fund. So Carrie Lake was just recently appointed senior advisor of the United States Agency for Global Media. Take a look about what she found in this whole operation of the United States Agency of Global Media. Check this out.
Hi, America. I'm here in Washington, D.C. as Senior Advisor at United States Agency for Global Media. I'm working on behalf of you and President Trump and his administration, and I have been on the job for a couple of weeks now, and I'm horrified by some of the things I'm learning about this agency. I'm sitting here on the 13th floor of a shiny, brand new, beautiful skyscraper building that is costing you, the taxpayer, a fortune. The Biden administration folks who were running this agency before, right before they left office, signed a brand new lease for this building, a 15-year lease that's going to cost the taxpayer nearly $250 million. Here's the kicker. They already have a building that they're located in that is paid off, that they could have renovated or updated, but they chose instead to get us into a lease that's costing the taxpayer a fortune. I know that every one of you out there is working hard and parting with your tax dollars. You're expecting it to be used wisely, not misused and mismanaged. And I can tell you that this building is a colossal waste of money.
Hold up, wait a minute. Check this out. I mean, this should infuriate you, but wait till I'm going to play the rest of the clip. But for, obviously the rules of YouTube, I can't play the whole clip without splicing it up and giving my take about it. But listen to this. I mean, if this doesn't make you upset, Carrie Lake went on her X account. I still call it Twitter. I don't know why I still call it Twitter. I think everybody does at this point. But, listen to this. This is just unbelievable. So this is what she said on this video that she just released on X last night. But she basically said, worse yet, this building is not even equipped to do TV or media broadcasting. That would cost millions of dollars more to build out. And well-connected broker walked away with a $10 million commission. A colossal waste. I'm terminating this lease on behalf of the American taxpayer. Look, I come from broadcasting world, from TV to radio, and I understand that's unbelievable that amount of money is in that building. They're leasing when down the street they have a full functional building with a TV broadcasting equipment. You would think that with this building lease, they would have brand new cutting technology, brand new studios, brand new cameras, audio, you name it, networked up. My God, someone is making a payday or walked away with a payday. We'll see what Elon finds out there with Doge, huh?
Take a look at what's in this building. Fancy conference rooms with wall-to-wall windows. There's 26 conference rooms, at least, that's what I've counted, in this building. There are 4 bridges to nowhere, massive waterfalls, Italian marble finishes everywhere, leather furnishings, all of this being paid for by the American taxpayer. And it's not the only thing we've seen. We are seeing grants where they've taken the grants and they've changed the contracts just days before we got in here to make it less transparent for us to find out where the money's going and what's happening with these grantees. It was an obvious sign that they wanted to keep us from finding out anything that we could possibly go in and change and make better for the American taxpayer. I want you to know I'm hard at work here in Washington, D.C. I'm working to make sure that we are not being bilked out of our hard-earned dollars. And we're going to make sure we're doing everything we can to cancel contracts that can be canceled, save money, downsize, and make sure there's no misuse of your dollars.
Trump declares war on fake news. He says the media's biased coverage is illegally swaying judges' ruling and must be stopped.
You can't allow yourselves to be deflected. You just can't let it happen. You have such a higher calling. And I believe that CNN and MSDNC, who literally write 97.6% bad about me, are political arms of the Democrat Party. And in my opinion, they're really corrupt and they're illegal. What they do is illegal. It makes no difference how big a victory I had. I can have the biggest victory in history. It makes no difference what kind of a failure the other side has.
Yeah, I would say the last, several years, the left-wing media has an agenda against the conservative news. That's why you see so much uprise with podcasting and these conservative voices getting outside of legacy media and doing so much damage and changing the culture, which ideally changed the course of this whole election. With Trump getting on key podcasts like Joe Rogan and different other podcasts, making his voice known to a younger demographic. But I have to say this too, is because when did the news ever become balanced? I don't think the news has ever been balanced. In fact, I don't remember that. I remember like Walter Cronkite back in the day when I was a tiny child. It's always been opinion based. Or when did that shift? When did we get away from the facts, reporting the facts? And I think in this time and day, people want the truth. Of course, you can give your slant and your opinion on something, just like this program that I'm doing right now. I'm giving my opinion on a news segment and giving my 2 cents about it. Does it make it factual? No, it doesn't. It's based on opinion. So I really think the news needs to get back to the news, just reporting it, and then also giving their take afterwards. We've seen that people are creating stories now or narratives that are not true and twisting them around to make it work for clicks and likes, that whole culture that we're in here in this YouTube thing. The conservative side is just as guilty as that as the left is. So where do we find the balance? Where do we find that unity where two people can sit down? And I got to tell you, I've watched some far left podcasts, like Gavin Newsom just started a podcast and he's bringing all these conservative guests on. And it's quite refreshing because he's giving his opinions, but also he's listening to the right as well. He doesn't always agree with it, but it's conversations, just like Tucker Carlson too. He has his conservative values, but he brings other people on. Patrick Bet-David does the same thing with the PVD podcast. So I think there's starting to be both parties coming together and having conversations that matter now. It's a beautiful thing. And I think once we can have those conversations, we may not always agree, but just to have a conversation and understand people's both sides, why they believe, what they believe, right? I think it's a great start. And I hope that news can get back to balance, education, and the facts. And that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this. Hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps the channel. Everybody that subscribed over the last couple of months, I appreciate you. I'm going to try to do more content on here as well. Those listening via podcast, we're going to do this thing, continue on, cover the news, and do amazing things with this program, The Jeff Adams Show. See you on the next one. Hear you on the next one. And I'm out. Peace out. Sauerkraut. That was straight cheese.